Xavier, you don't mind I play some of your one of your project video later.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So they can watch you perform.
I guess most of the people here are poly graduates. So because the JC one they haven't really opened their registration period.
Yeah.
So and the poly ones still haven't finished their registration period. They'll be
Okay.
closing in a few more days lah. So
Yeah.
I guess these are the maybe the last few batches of students
Yeah.
who still couldn't make up their mind
Okay.
on which course to
Alright.
choose. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe I just start, I guess.
Can. Okay, let me do a short introduction first. Okay, so in the high students, so I'm Benjamin. I'm a TA in NUSDID, and I also came from Poly. So if you have any questions about like the Poly intake, how the Poly people will become like different from the GC students when we are in studying in DID, probably you can ask us or ask Xavier. I think we will be able to give you all some insights about that. Then today in the chat, we have one of our profs. So he is Mr. Song Kee Hong. Yeah. So he's you know, a lecturer in the course, and he's also taking up like taking the year fours for their final year thesis. So he's a supervisor in the final year thesis as well. Then together with Kee Hong, we have also Xavier. So Xavier is a TA working in NUSDID as well. And then he's teaching, if I'm not wrong, the design thinking workshops across the CDE College of Design and Engineering. Oh, I think Xavier just dropped out.
Okay, I think he'll rejoin again.
Yeah, he will rejoin again. Okay, he's back. Okay, I think Kee Hong, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah.
Maybe
okay.
You have something to show the students.
Okay. Hey, hello everyone. I'm Kee Hong here, and this Benjamin just introduced. I'm one of the prof here, teaching industrial design, and just a bit about my background. I'm a practicing staff, so I do practice and I teach. So in my background, I show you some of the project that I've done. I'm still designing. Give me a second. Let me just get out of the way. So I do stuff like products, user interface like you see in the airport, Terminal 3. I do consumer electronics, like you see Sennheiser, biomedical. I do lots of biomedical. You see in the two corners there, cancer related systems. And I do using UX design space. That means like interior, but with a lot of UX element there. So that goes. Okay, I'm going to keep this short so that I have time for you to ask questions later. And how about this? I'm going to just show you a few videos of my recent studios, so that maybe then you have some context of what I teach. And I think there will be 9 other sessions from other staff here, and I think they'll show their stuff. So each one of us here specializes in particular areas. For me, I'm a practicing staff, so I'm multidisciplinary. I do I serve quite a few diverse industry. And at the same time, I actually practice in different disciplinary domain, as you can see in the background there. Okay, so without much ado, let me share a video. Let me start with Xavier's project. And give me a second. Let me just do my video clip. Whiteboard studio video. Okay. Give me a second. Let me just. I don't think you're able to see this, right? Give me a second. Let me just redo this. Let me just share again. New share. No, this is not it. Second. Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay, while Kee Hong is doing up the share screen, right? I think I'll just use this chance to also remind the Poly and IB students, your registration period is closing in about a week's time. So do remember to go and register your bid on the NUS admission office.
Okay, let me just share from here. Okay. Share again. I'm not seeing on my screen for some reason. Maybe it's this one. Share. Yeah, okay. Let me. Okay, so what you see there is a collaboration with Samsung, and it's more or less a speculative project. So to see like, well, what's the roadmap for Samsung ahead to project it. And next, I'll show you another project. Give me a second. Okay, here's I think it's last semester's project.
Hello, this is Min, and the Dremel tool is my most favorite prototyping tool for its versatility. However, from my own and others' experience with the tool, the Dremel isn't suitable for long duration of work, especially with a pen grip. The roller grip, on the other hand, provides more stability, but less maneuverability. Another pain point is the dust and debris generated from working with the Dremel. In improving the tool, I'm designing around recent development in lithium-ion battery technology, as well as the Bosch slotted drive shaft system. This allows for lighter tool and instantaneous bits attachment. Having identified the two pain points and the two areas of potential application, I've iterated for an optimal form of the tool and its peripherals. This is achieved through rapid prototyping, 3D printing, and incorporating a rotary motor for a more accurate user testing. With that, I'd like to present the Dremel Plus.
okay, this is more a product design, but still, you can see a lot of our user experience elements are going around. I don't think that products today exist in a vacuum. So there are a lot of touch points all around it. So these two project represents that. I'll show you one last project before we get to the Q&A. Okay, this one is another project, I think just 2 semesters ago, and this one won a Red Dot award recently. You can see.
If there's one thing we all have a love-hate relationship with, it is a public drinking fountain, or more commonly known as the water cooler. Many love the convenience it brings and how it reduces the use of single-use plastic bottles. But to many others, including myself, safety and hygiene concerns makes us really uneasy. That's it. The truth is that we are all part of the problem. Research have shown that we only take in 30% of the water, while the rest of the saliva-contaminated water meets the sink surface. This becomes a nightmare in the spreading of germs and viruses when black splashes are inevitable. And to make things worse, the design of the spout makes mouth or face contact far too common, intentional or unintentional. It is hence unsurprising that in light of COVID-19, countries worldwide have closed down water coolers under expert recommendations to do so. The big question then comes, how do we restore public confidence in water coolers? Through user research and experimental observations, I discovered 2 main things. Firstly, to reduce backsplashes, physical obstructions were effective, like grills or fins, of which I found grills were extremely successful in doing so. Secondly, people tend to distance their mouth away from a spout if it is harmful to go near, or if it's larger than their mouth, or if they feel the immediate negative feedback of going too close, like water not going into the sink. Which led me to further experiment with different sizes and shapes of spout. One eureka moment was when I realized that spout signals to the user where to place their mouth at, but this could be replaced by an initial arc of water that the user sees before coming close, eliminating the need for a spout altogether. Combining these findings with a form that brings everything together, I introduced Solutions S+, the contactless self-cleaning water cooler. Now let's bring someone thirsty into the scene and call him Bob. As Bob approaches S+ to quench his thirst, S+ senses him at a close distance and turns off its UV light and starts to dispense water, indicating to Bob where to place his mouth at. While drinking, S+ guilt sync ensures a splashless experience. And after Bob is done and walks away, S+ stops dispensing water and starts sanitizing itself again. To top it all off, every once in a while S+ will wash itself through its rotating stream of water, keeping the guilt sync debris-free. All this in combination with a bottle refill station makes S+ a highly versatile water cooler that can suit most indoor environments, like offices and airports. With that, let's make water coolers cool again.
Okay, so you can see this product actually. You can see that a whole user journey is planned around it. Well, before the user comes, after the cleaning, after the user comes along. So you can see that it doesn't just exist by itself. There's a whole suite of features all built in, tracing the whole user journey. Benjamin, do I have time for another 3-minute video, or should I just start Q&A? Benjamin?
Can.
Okay, I'll show you one that is more service design, but so there's more service design than product design. But just bear in mind that in today's world, right, it's multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary. So a lot of time, service design exists together with other kind of discipline, whether interaction, product, or otherwise. So I'll show you one last one since we have time. Okay, here's another collaboration with Samsung.
As we age, so does our hair. However, everyone's hair requires different care, and it's not so easy to find out what the best options are. Meet Lulu, a baby boomer who is noticing more gray hairs and hair loss. Although she is unsatisfied with her appearance, she is afraid to take risks to improve her looks in case it turns out worse than what she had before. She is unsure of what products to use and ends up wasting money on treatments that don't work, or even worse, damages her hair further. How can these factors be improved to create lasting confidence? Samsung's Allure Smart Hairbrush allows Lulu to track the conditions of her hair to receive personalized treatment. Through the 3 steps, analyze, heal, and protect, Lulu can view her hair journey through an integrated online portal. Allure accommodates many environments with its wireless magnetic charger that mounts onto any wall or flat surface. To start, push the button on the handle to activate the scanner side. The scanner analyzes Lulu's hair strands by running a portion of hair through it. Afterwards, a picture of the strands can be viewed on the online portal as well as statistics about hair length, frizziness, and strength. On the other side of Allure is the brush that analyzes the scalp. When Lulu runs the brush over her head, she can view a picture of her scalp and read information about dryness and root health through the online portal. Lulu can learn more about her hair condition and better understand what kinds of treatments are necessary for her. The brush side also activates a spray mist capsule, which can be inserted at the bottom of the hairbrush. Push the button on this side to easily apply protective hair products and track their effectiveness over time. No more product wastage. Lulu can receive monthly subscriptions of personalized hair products straight to her doorstep. She can learn about how to apply certain products and the benefits that each has for her hair type. With Allure's customized treatment, hairstyle, and dye recommendations, Lulu can have the luxury of a personal stylist in the comforts of her own home. By analyzing the scalp, Allure is able to detect receding hairlines, hair thinning, and gray hairs. Lulu can explore different hairstyles based on these results to conceal spots that cause insecurities. To combat hair loss and maintain long-lasting protection, Allure provides information about various treatment options. Lulu can contact and book appointments with local hairstylists directly from the online portal. Hairstylists can view Lulu's analysis results for easier communication and understand her hair condition even before they meet for an appointment. Time for a fresh new color. Allure provides natural-looking dye options based on Lulu's skin tone. She can also receive hair dye that is the exact color of her current hair and her monthly subscription to touch up gray hairs. With Samsung's Allure Smart Hairbrush, the elderly can take control over their changing hair conditions and become confident in styles that are specifically catered to them. Learning how to maintain healthy hair doesn't become so complicated after all, and with Allure, they will never have to worry about having a bad hair day ever again.
Okay, that's all I have. This last one is also a collaboration with Samsung. So you can see that in this case, right, the product plays just a fairly minimal part. It's actually a whole service design around it that actually help to engage the user and engage the business around the user and to have a fully integrated suite of services. All right, I'm open to take any question. If you have any, just go ahead.
Okay, so y'all, if you have any questions, y'all can write it in the chat, or if you're feeling not so shy, you can turn on your camera and also just voice it out.
Yeah.
Then you take precedence lah. You answer those people who are willing to kind of like voice their questions out straight away.
Okay, I got a chat here. How do you evaluate a design? How do you make? Oh, sorry, I didn't see the chat. Wait a second. Oh, there are a lot of chats there. Okay, Benjamin, why don't you curate?
Okay, can.
Sorry.
Okay. I think before I start off the Q&A questions, right? I just briefly touched on what Kee Hong has just shared. So those are actually what we call vertical platforms, or sometimes we call them studios. This module, right, is quite special, where the year 2, year 3s, and year 4 actually come together in a class to work as a team to come up with a design. So this is where the learnings from the upper years will actually diffuse to the lower years. This vertical studio is actually one of the special modules that you don't really see in a lot of modules, because firstly, there is actually a lot of collaboration with the external parties. Like from Kee Hong's side, you saw like he collaborated with Samsung a couple of times. For other studios, there's a collaboration with those beauty makeup like L'Oreal and Shiseido. So there's actually a lot of industry collaboration for all these vertical studios. Yeah, and do not worry if you have a wide range of interests. So every semester you'll be able to take up to around 2 vertical studios. So we call it the Tuesday studios and also the Thursday studios. Then there you can pick which vertical studio do you want to take. So let's say, for example, you are interested in more medical designs. So you can actually pick to do more medical related studios. And then let's say you are interested in doing a bit more UI UX stuff. Then you can pick those that has more slant towards the UI UX vertical studios. Yeah, and so the video that you just saw is kind of like the final presentation where they did a summary of what they did in the whole semester.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just reading this. This very long question from Feng Rong.
Yes.
Hey, Feng Rong, I think its design is really subjective. It depends on the context. And I think it's best that I answer from my point of view. I specialize in human-centered design. As you can see, I surgically target a specific user research. For example, if I design an airport, right, I will actually have a group of users that represents the typical airport traveler. And I will use a suite of methods and tools to test them out. And if I have prototype, right, I'll run through them. I find all the pain points and I evaluate them and improve them all throughout the whole design process. So that is very different from someone that designs something ornamental, like a nice vase or a nice table, and it's a separate issue altogether. So and the context is totally different. So from my side, I would say that a design that is really usable, I would call it a good design. And I think and again, it's very personal. I think that design is not just about function and usability. I think aesthetic appeal is also important. And a lot of time, a lot of effort is done to make it both aesthetically pleasing, at the same time that is highly usable and relevant to the user. And both are important. So I would say that balance there is vital. I don't know if that answers your question, because there's a few more stuff down there. Okay, and any other question?
I think Xavier, can you take one of the question? Like, how do you cooperate with other designers? Maybe you can share like your experience working with the other students when you were a student.
Yeah, I think so I'm Xavier. I come from SP before NUS. So I was a poly grad as well. And I think what Benjamin shared about this vertical studio and like cooperating with other designers is one of the most valuable skills of a DID students here. Because I think in poly you kind of always almost work alone, but when you come into NUS you actually learn a lot from your peers. And by peers I don't just mean your batchmates, right? So when I was year 2, when I first came in, I actually learned a lot from my year 4 senior at that point of time. And we have this very giving culture in NUS DID where it just kind of keep going on and on. So how do you cooperate with other designers? I would say eventually things will happen in your platforms, and I think it's character building from there. And yeah, so I don't think there's any general principles behind. I think it's just experience. You need to go through it, and eventually I think that kind of sort of make DID students very good at project management in this sense.
Okay, thank you, Xavier. Okay, so there's another question by Rebecca. So she's asking, maybe Kee Hong can answer this one. So do designers have to do coding, mechanics of product, and experience? Is that a role of a designer or a role of an engineer? Because I think currently we are kind of like coupled together with in the new college of design environment engineer. Maybe you can take on this question.
Okay. Well, technically you don't have to, but with us you get to. That's a privilege. I think the days when you learn a very siloed set of skill and then you go out and make a living, I think, and try to prosper in your career, I think the days are shrinking very fast. I think we work in that kind of more complex world now. A lot of solutions are not just hardware; they're also digital. And a lot of time we are saturated with a lot of solutions and products and offerings. So strong interaction design is almost vital to attract, to engage, to retain users. So you almost want to know everything. You don't have to be the expert at everything, but you need to know a bit of something, and then maybe you have some depth in one or two areas. That makes you a more versatile designer, a more usable designer for the industry. I don't know if that answers your question.
Maybe I can just top up a little bit. Okay, so I'm actually helping to teach some coding modules in DID as well. So the students, we don't expect you to be expert in coding, but then we kind of like expect you to have at least the basics of coding, so that you have enough knowledge to talk to with the engineers. Like you want certain interactions, but then if you do not have any knowledge of coding at all, maybe you do not know the difficulty and the technical hurdles you have to go through. So therefore, DID is trying to equip you with the at least the basic knowledge, and then if you have further interest to pursue those areas, you can do so on your own. But then what we want to do is so that you are have enough knowledge to talk with the other people that you are collaborating with in the future. Like for example, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and even coders. I think working with coders, collaborating with coders is something that you see very common nowadays.
Yeah. So can I chime in too? Because I think when I first came into NUSDID, I was a very product design student from there. But then I think we have known on my last year I actually kind of pivot towards interaction design and pick up coding from there. And I think it really talks about the landscape of design, design industry that is ever changing. And thus I feel that the curriculum of DID is always keeping up with the industry as well. So I think 3-4 years ago when I first entered, there was no such thing as a coding course for us. But then just last year we kind of started to introduce more coding classes, and a lot of these modules are always ever changing to keep up with the industry. And like what Kee Hong said, I think as designers coming in here, you learn to be very multidisciplinary, you learn to be equipped with many things, but at the same time be very specialized at what you think you are good at.
Then Xavier, do you want to take the next question? The next question is by Triman, and he asked, what are some of the softwares that the students are kind of like expected to know before even starting year one? Is that really necessary, or what are some of the software that you pick up throughout the 4 years? Can you share some insight in that?
It's a very interesting question because I think the difference between poly and uni for me is that poly was very software centric, was very hard skill centric. But coming into uni, right, it kind of made me realize that hard skills is just it's just a tool for us, right? And so I talked about the vertical atelier system that NUS DID have, and basically when we match out with different people, we try to match out with people with different skill sets. Right, so I could have matched out with a senior who's good in certain software and I'm good at certain software. So I would say that you are not expected to know any software coming in, but you should know that software's hard skills these days very easily learn online, and that I don't think you need to enroll into a school to learn about hard skills and softwares.
Okay, then maybe Kee Hong, you can take the next question. So Jaylee is asking, what's the ratio of design to engineering modules in the new DID curriculum?
It's all design still. I mean, we merge, but we are also independent. We decide on our own like curriculum. But I think currently I'm also working to open up some opportunities to our students that they can actually work together with engineering students. I think, like it or not, we go out there, right? You work with people of all disciplines, not just a bunch of designers huddling together. And that's a fact that I think having that experience also helps. How you learn to work with them, compromise, even excel. We build upon each other's strength. I think that's part and parcel of learning, and that's part of parcel of a university. It's not about hardware, software, it's about everything, the whole package. And I hope that helps to clarify. And I think there's one question here, Yulia. Are they competitive? I think yes and no. I think there are different kind of students. Some are really competitive, take no prisoners kind, but most of the students are quite friendly to each other. And for example, now I've every year I take on a couple of thesis students, and a lot of time they actually help each other, how to critique each other whenever we have a review. And I do encourage that also, not just like my view, like dominating them. I think everyone actually has a voice there. And by year 4, they are pretty good and pretty sharp. So we treasure each other's like feedback, and it's often a very open kind of atmosphere here.
Maybe I'll just chime in a little bit on the competitiveness side. I think maybe
more believable.
yeah. Xavier also can chime in on this. I think Singaporeans students being Singaporeans, I guess, we want to one up each other. So because when we are doing our projects, we are kind of like able to peep into like what other people are doing. So you go and see other people are doing, wow, they do rendering, wow, they did a very nice model. Then you would feel very motivated to also trying to one up them, or at least try to be on par with them. So in that sense, I do say that NUS is actually quite competitive in that sense, but it's actually quite self-driven. It's not like the teacher that, hey, you better go and do this and do that. It's very student driven.
I agree with competitive, and I think that's what really helped groom me across the 4 years in ID, the competitive spirit, and but I would say competitive but not selfish in the ID. Everyone's not selfish, everyone's very willing to share, everyone's really very willing to teach each other, but we still keep the competitive edge there. Okay.
There's one question by Rebecca. So, Kee Hong, maybe you like take this one. Do DID offer urban design modules?
I don't understand what's urban design. So, Rebecca, you want to just turn on your video and just share with us what you mean urban design? Rebecca, are you there?
Let me see. Yeah. Is your urban design referring to like more architectural urban design or interior design? Oh, so it's like designing spaces. I think I can quickly chime in on this first. So there are actually some vertical studios that is inverted commas designing spaces. Like for example, some of the
I think Shiseido, right?
Yeah, like Shiseido, where they actually design the space for the products to be exhibited. Yeah, so in that sense, they are designing spaces for the users and also for displaying of the products. But I wouldn't say we take I would say we take a lot of precedence in emphasizing on designing space per se only. I think we are always trying to design the user experience, the holistic experience, and then designing a space is part of it.
Okay. There's actually a question here that I missed out. Can I ask about process of designer learning about products they are modifying, like what they need to know and research to validate their design? There are a lot of process out there, but a lot of time it depends on the resources and time available, because all the projects that's now I showed, right, are individual projects. They're not group projects. They're done within 11 or to 13 weeks span, so they are extremely tight. There will be some iteration. Sometimes they build different kind of full model to test out, and then if we are in a collaboration, a lot of time we ask the collaborator, hey, is this does this fit in your roadmap? Is this something that is relevant to your business? But talking about science, or that a lot relates to anthropometric kind of ergonomics kind of fit design that is fit for the user. So probably not in this short span, because it also depends on what market you're selling to. Because human size differs across the globe. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, while we are waiting for some more questions to be raised, I think I'll just share a little bit about the admission process, because I think this is one of the few questions that has been raised up quite frequently. So right now, you all are in the first phase of the admission process, which is you choose your top three, your few choices of which course you want to study. Yeah. So at this point, you'll be kind of like submitting your results. So if you're from the poly, you'll be submitting your poly results. If you're from JC, you will submit your JC results, same as the IB. Then each of them will have their own different cutoff. I can't really tell you the specifics, but then basically in each group of students, you will have your own cutoff points. Okay. Then after that, you'll be selected. Once if you are selected for the second round, you'll be notified, and then that's where you actually will be doing some interview questions. And this year, the interview will be done online. So you'll be given a set of instructions and then also a time limit. And then you're supposed to, watch a video and answer some questions, go and perform some task, and then within a time span. And then you have to upload those things onto online portal. And then for some students who ask, like, if I have a portfolio, where do I upload it? So this is the chance where you can upload your portfolio, and also if you have any testimonials that is being written by, for example, your superiors when you did internships, or your last year project supervisor. Yeah, so you can upload those stuff into the online portal at the second stage.
Any more question about the course, about what you need, about prospect, about anything?
I have a question regarding the admission, because I'm from Poly, right? And then right now there's they want me upload my transcript, but when I check my school, I'm from Young Poly, and then there's like a paid one and an unpaid one. I don't know if I should submit the paid one or the unpaid one, because now I'm using 5 semesters. So I'm not sure which one to submit.
Ben, do you know? Because I got no idea.
Yeah, this one I have to. I think it's a case by case thing. So Jaylee, can you private message me, and for me to some way to reach out to you later on? I can ask the admission office and kind of like get back to you with a proper answer. Right now, on top of my head, I do not have a good answer for you.
Okay, Ken, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? By the way, Xavier's background, right, is our studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And my background is the school's exterior, the same place, but outside. It's a net zero energy building. That means actually produce more energy than it consumes. And it's all solar panel over. Okay, so and I think this is Singapore's first, and I think it's first net zero energy building. So if you join us, you have a privilege of working in basically a living and working machine. Yeah.
I think what's interesting is also DID culture or space, right, or studio, where the year 1 to year 3 we actually share the same space throughout, because we collaborate with the platforms with each other and all that. And I think that is also why we always communicate across each other, across different projects, because we always see each other in studios, and we always chime in on each other's project. Yeah, so that's basically the culture you'll be expecting in DID, is that you come into this very big space, very big studio, and then you kind of make friends from there. So I think traditionally with other majors, you actually have like phantoms, or phantoms, people who always go missing or something like that. But in DID culture, everyone's sort of very included.
I think the course is not too big, and everyone is taking the same class. I think in the end, the whole cohort will know each other. Yeah, I think it's something that is very different from the rest of the school. Sometimes you don't even know who are your classmates. Yeah. But in DID, I think that's one of the special things. Everyone knows everybody from year 1 to year 4.
It's so Ben, okay, if there's no question,
I think we just do one last call.
Yeah, then we wrap up. Yeah, so
Yes.
I don't keep everybody here.
I think Rebecca asked if there's double major option for ID.
Oh yes.
I think there is, right?
Okay. Okay, so this is still in the works. But then double major is something that is not very common in DID because the workload in DID is actually quite high. So therefore, most students do not actually apply for a double major. But having that said, right, this is something in the works, still in the works. So it's not 100% concrete yet. In the future, right, there might be in year 4, there might be this thing called specialization. So next time you graduate with Bachelor of Arts, industrial design, and then specialization in something. That something hasn't been firmed up yet, but you can almost see it like a minor. Yeah, so it's like interaction design and stuff like this.
And any other question? If not, I can also share that you can go to our website and look at the staff teaching design here. We are one of those schools where actually majority are international staff, so it's almost like going overseas. Now in COVID you can't, right? Now you almost can. They come from everywhere: the US, France. I think basically everywhere. So you get a chance to learn from people with very diverse set of background and experience. And we have a very wide spread of expertise there. So for example, I'm in human-centered design. I specialize in multidisciplinary. There are those that are in service design. There are those that are interaction, in product, in speculative. Some are more in arts side of design. So it's really widespread. And I feel that the biggest advantage, if I were to tell someone to come to us, is that if you go to other programs, right, maybe you select a pillar, and that determines the path forward. And sometimes, how do you even select at the early stage? You don't even know what you are good at, what you like. So that studio system, which Benjamin and Xavier talk about, right? Basically, every semester, right, we have about 11 to 13 studios. So you pick any two. So for example, this sem, I want to try this and that. And maybe next time I realize that, hey, actually I'm not very good at this, or I'm not even interested. Let me focus on like B, for example, I'm going to skip A. So next semester, I can concentrate on projects, on topics that are more like A. And as I go along, right, actually I'm building a portfolio along the way. And by the time I graduate, and I basically am already stream by myself. So it's like it's a more fluid system than a very fixed kind of streaming or a kind of like pillar, and it's self-driven. Nobody will tell you whether to take A or B, and you have a set of points which you use to tender for the studio. All right, so you use them wisely, and you curate what you want to learn, and by year 4, right, you have something you can specialize in. And even halfway through, you have nothing you want to specialize in. You can keep taking a mix of studio. So no one's stopping you. Like that. That's the freedom that few programs can afford you. I think that to me is the biggest, some of the biggest selling point, unique point of our studio. Okay. Any question regarding this that you'd like to know?
Okay, if there's any last message, you can try to do it now. If not, I will do like the wrapping up message. Okay, yeah. So I think with all this sharing from Kee Hong and also Xavier, right? I think what we are trying to portray is actually the DNA of DID, which is actually the students are all very multi-curious. We have multifaceted skill set. Sometimes some students are inclined to do medical products. Some students are inclined to do UI UX products. Yeah. So we actually have a lot of studios for you to choose from. And then what we equip you with is skills for you to pick up enough to work. Yeah. And then after that, you can collaborate with those experts like those medical doctors, surgical surgeons, even with the, for example, if your users are the tank operators of SAF, you'll be equipped enough to engage with them and have a proper conversation to understand what they want. And then therefore you can bring your skill set to the table and design something that is useful for them. Yeah. So therefore, I think we are a course that is very flexible. And if you see it from an employer's point of view, actually DID students are actually very employable because we are kind of like very well-rounded and with a strong specialization, which is your own preference.
Mm.
Maybe you want to do UI UX in the future, or you want to be a product designer in the future, or do you want to engage in more like a mixed breed between a coder and a designer? Yeah, all these are actually up to the individual interests.
Okay. So I guess we wrap up from here.
Can. All right. Okay. Thank you, Kee Hong, and also Xavier for spending time here, and also all the students who actually raise questions and spend time in this Zoom session to ask us questions. So I wish you all the best for your application. Remember, it's closing in just a few more days only. So do make your make your choice quickly, and I hope you put the idea as your first choice.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing all of you here. Bye.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Bye.
Okay, have a good
Bye.
evening.
You too. Bye.